Welcome back to Holistic Healing Association. I'm Erin Darcy. I'm certified in embodied processing and certified in clinical hypnosis. Today is part 3 of a mini-series on healing developmental trauma with compassion and grace. Today we'll be discussing the Adverse Childhood Experience Questionnaire. And with this questionnaire, there's 10 questions of traumatic experiences we may have experienced as a child. And between 0 to 3, it means low to medium. 4 to 6 is high. And the score 6 to 10 is very high. And the higher our score, the higher chances of us having chronic health problems and mental health struggles. It can lead to autoimmune system disorders, such as diabetes. It can cause us to have strokes, heart problems. Some believe certain types of cancers. And can lead us to struggle with anxiety, depression, disassociation, eating disorders. It can take 20 years off our lifespan. Developmental trauma impacts so many people. This is real and this is happening. However, this is beatable. And together we can move forward and we can heal. I have with me Carrie, who's certified in embodied processing and is a trauma coach. Thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, Erin. So a little bit about me. I live in the US. I live in the state of Ohio. I grew up in the city my entire life. We recently just moved to a Amish town, so it's really different where I'm living now than how I grew up. We moved to 5 acres of land.
Amazing. I'd love to live on 5 acres of land.
And there's so much woods, there's so much just beauty out here. I have deer, all kinds of birds. It's amazing. So quite different from my city life and where I grew up. But I am a wife and I am a mother of 3 grown children. I have been on my healing journey for probably about 7 years now. And here I am, embodied processing. That's been my latest certification, and I'm just rolling along.
And I'm going to go over the ACE test. And just for our viewers, if you'd like to listen along, and then you can tell us your score if you're comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. So as I was saying, there's 10 questions. I'm just going to read out loud to everyone, and you can just put a mark for each experience you may have experienced personally, and that will give everyone, all of our viewers, their score. Now, before saying this, personally, I believe a lot more experiences could be added to this test. And this is experiences that you have experienced up to the age of 18. After that, I wouldn't put a mark on. Does that make sense, Carrie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So the very first question. Did you feel that you didn't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, or had no one to protect you or take care of you? The second question. Did you lose a parent through divorce, abandonment, death, or another reason? Number 3, did you live with anyone who was depressed, mentally ill, or attempted suicide? Number 4, did you live with anyone who had a problem with drinking or using drugs, including prescription drugs? Number 5, did your parents or adults in your home ever hit you, punch you, or beat you or threaten you with harm? Number 6, did you live with anyone who went to jail or prison? Number 7, did a parent or adult in your home ever swear at you, insult you, or put you down? Number 8, did a parent or adult in your home ever hit, beat, kick, or physically hurt you in any way? Number 9, did you feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were special? Number 10, did you experience unwanted sexual contact? So I'll just give a moment for everyone to just look at their score and count it up. And for you to have a moment, Carrie, to look at your own personal score. And just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. And if you're comfortable, what was your score?
My score was a 10, which is quite sobering, right? When I first discovered my score, though, it kind of gave me validation, I think, and just a framework of understanding why my life and the patterns in my life were the way that they were.
Okay. So it helped you understand a little bit more.
Yeah, it gave me a place where I found a lot of love for myself and compassion for myself, which I did not have before that. And when I found the ACE test, it wasn't through embodied processing. It was through another program that I had gotten certified in as a Live Well coach, and I helped facilitate a book. And they had the ACE score in this book, and I took the ACE score, and it was very, very sobering when I took it. Yeah.
I took my A score test at the program when I took the program at Laura University. And I further into the interview, I will talk about my own personal score. And have you experienced any health struggles, emotional struggles, or addictions because of your developmental trauma?
Oh, yeah. All of the above. I definitely dealt with a lot of OCD when I was younger. I just remember times when I would constantly be afraid I didn't unplug like an iron, or I didn't lock the door, and I would miss my bus all the time because I would literally walk to my bus stop, come home, lock the door because I thought it wasn't locked, go back to the bus stop. And I would do this 5 or 6 times, even knowing that I walked back and I locked the door. I still did it 5 or 6 times because I just was walking around with this constant like fear inside of me. I definitely grew up with a lot of anxiety and depression. Felt like I didn't fit in. As an adult, I've definitely experienced, I think, gut issues, severe gut issues, not being able to eat certain foods and things of that
They
sort.
can definitely affect our digestive.
Yes, absolutely. Unable to lose weight when I had gained weight from having babies. Even if I was healthy and exercising 7 days a week, eating healthy, my weight just wouldn't come off. I think
And that's
probably,
something that's common too. with
Oh yeah,
dealing with
absolutely.
trauma?
You want to hear something funny is that since I've been working with embodied processing, I've lost like 19 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, go
It's
in
been a
body processing then.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Another big thing for me is restless leg syndrome.
Okay.
I still have leg syndrome, but I am noticing that those symptoms are starting to dissipate as well. It's nowhere near as bad as it was before I started embodied processing. So I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping one day I can just be off medication for that.
So it's leading to a better health.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And as far as the addictions go, definitely started drinking when I was really, really young. I think the first time I drank was when I was 12. Experimented a little bit with marijuana when I was younger, but I didn't like the way it made me feel. So alcohol was the go-to for me. Um, and I used it quite a bit with friends. And into my adult life. And I also think that I really had an addiction to food for quite some time.
And do you believe that was to try and numb pain?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime an emotion would pop up, I would either run to alcohol or food.
Okay.
And it didn't matter if it was I was happy. It didn't matter if I was sad. It didn't matter if I was mad. I that's what I would run to just to numb myself so I wouldn't have to feel.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that,
Yeah.
but the healing journey has been good to you.
It has been really good to me. It started out, I think, just in a place where I was tired of being tired. And there was so much chaos in my life. I just started diving into like studying at first. I started learning about my brain, about neuroscience, about my body, and it began to make me really, really curious. And yeah, so I just started educating myself. And I think that's when I was just discovering, I don't have to live this way. This doesn't have to be this way, and I
No
can
one
heal.
has to live this way.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
many people think this is it. This is how I have to live the rest of my life.
yeah,
And it's not true. It's a big lie.
right. Or they don't even, or they don't even realize that that's what they're stuck in. I don't even think I had the thought that I wanted to change, if that makes any sense.
Because this is your normal.
It was my normal. I didn't know anything different. Um, yeah, but the more I started educating myself, that's when, light bulbs started popping up and I'm like, oh, like I don't have to do this. I can change the way I'm living my life. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how has developmental trauma impacted you in relationships and your attachment and being able to trust other people?
Oh, that one's a big one. It affected everything for me. I never felt safe. So I was always, trying to figure out people. I was always trying to either protect and guard myself or just completely shutting people out. It affected every relationship I had for a very, very long time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And what advice do you have for people to be able to meet themselves with compassion and grace that have just realized how high their score is? What advice do you have for them?
Would say is you're not broken. Your score isn't your identity. It's a place where you can have a framework to go forward and have compassion for the way that you've been living your life, because your body has just been trying to protect you. And I think that's the biggest thing is taking responsibility for your healing is huge, but having compassion, because it's not just a one and done and it takes time. So don't rush yourself and learn to love yourself.
And I think too, reflecting on this, meeting ourselves where we're at.
Mhm.
It's also meeting other people where they're at and meeting with them with compassion and grace and realizing that they too may have had traumatic experiences in their life that has really impacted them. And sometimes when we are going through a lot of trauma, we're not always acting with our authentic core selves and our good hearts. And we can be judged harshly when people don't understand. So the deeper understanding we have, the better, because the more we're able to meet people with compassion. And there's my puppy. Hi, Bailey. Hey, come here.
Aw. Puppies are the best. They're good therapy, aren't they?
You want to come up?
Aw,
Here. Can you say hi to everybody?
look at that
Say
beautiful
hi.
baby.
Yeah, there you go. And dogs are great for compassion, right?
Yeah.
And trust. And when we're experiencing trauma and having a hard time trusting others, dogs can be great. And I think meeting people with compassion and grace and looking at people, realizing they may have gone through hell and back.
Mhm.
We don't know. And until we walk in the same shoes, we should not be judging. And personally, that's why I believe Christ views people, because we don't see everything. He's always there, he's always looking, and he sees you as that little child when your parents may have been beating you up or beating each other up. And he sees when you may have been assaulted. He sees the most terrific things. And when we're suffering and we may be going to addictions or we may be going to places we don't really want to go out of pain, he knows why. And he, I believe, is meeting us with compassion, love, and grace.
Mhm.
And we don't always understand everything. There's a lot we don't understand in life. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get to a place where you can find compassion for yourself and the grace to give yourself and allow yourself uh, the the process of healing, and you start really diving into it. For me personally, it gave me a lens to see the people that have hurt me differently and able to give them compassion and grace and forgiveness. It's not always easy to do, I don't think, when you experience a very high level of abuse, but it can happen. And I think it's very important for us to be able to look at people with a lens of what have they gone through that has brought them to this point where they feel like they need to numb, with whatever. And those things, cause a lot of problems, and a lot of times people get hurt in the process. I think compassion and grace is a huge thing. I do think that it took me a long time to be able to have that, and I still think some days are harder than others when I'm trying to work through or process a memory that's really hard for me to work through. But at the end of the day, I really believe that it's a for others and for ourselves is a necessary for our healing.
Would you like to tell us your trauma story?
Sure. I went back and forth on how much to tell, but I'll just let it come out as it comes out. I was born in a neighborhood that was pretty impoverished. Not many people in my neighborhood had money. So there was a lot of poverty around me. I don't remember bits and pieces of my childhood, but what I do remember was really, really hard. My father was an alcoholic and he was very physically abusive to my mom. And we seen all of it. And my mom, I don't think she was an alcoholic or a drug addict at first, but I think dealing with the abuse that she dealt with, she ended up leaning to drugs and alcohol. So we were surrounded by that. And it was in the entire family. I had a lot of family on my dad's side that lived in that neighborhood as well. And they were all, pretty heavy drinkers and dabbled in drugs quite a bit. There was a lot of parties at our house, things of that nature, a lot of abuse. Um, so me and my brother, we fended for ourselves a lot. There was a lot of times where I would go to friends' house to eat because there was nothing at our house to eat. Um, we went through a really long period of time where my father quit paying for trash pickup and quit paying for heat. And so we didn't have hot water. We would have to boil water to take a bath. And our house was just, my mom was also, she also coped, she was a hoarder. And so my house was just filthy growing up. Um, yeah, and then I had an older family member who started sexually abusing me probably around the age of 7 or 8. Um, and that went on for a while before he was caught.
I'm sorry to hear
So,
that.
yeah. So it was quite the childhood. And um yeah, it continued all throughout my teenage life. And things seemed to smooth out for a little while when I became pregnant because I think my father and my mother really wanted to have a relationship with my baby. I got pregnant at 16. And my dad kind of calmed down for a while, but then, after so long, the abuse started again. My mom eventually left my dad, but yeah, everything that we were exposed to definitely affected my life pretty traumatically.
And how has your trauma shaped you as a person? And how has your healing shaped you as a person?
I would say my trauma shaped me as a very untrusting, full of shame, full of fear. I didn't feel worthy. I never felt enough growing up, even in friendships, pretty much every relationship. And I was seeking some kind of healing in every way I could, but it was all the wrong ways. I was pregnant by the age of 16 with my high school sweetheart, but before I had met him, I was already sexually active. I was very promiscuous. I started being promiscuous at a very young age, probably around 12.
And that
Um,
can be alone for people that are not aware. That can easily be a trauma response.
oh, absolutely. Um, because you're looking for some kind of way to soothe and feel loved and you know, you yeah, you're just trying to figure something out to make you feel better. But yeah, the trauma shaped my life pretty pretty bad for a very long time. Um, but my healing journey started, like I said, it was probably around, I would say it's been more like 7 or 8 years um, from the beginning of it. But my life has drastically changed. And not only has my life changed, I'm seeing the fruit of that on my adult children. Their lives are starting to change.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's pretty neat to watch. When I first started going to counseling and I did talk therapy and I started, learning about the effects of abuse and trauma and all these things and how our mind is separate from our brain. And I just started learning all these things. Um, it drastically changed everything in my life. I wasn't willing to put up with abuse. I wasn't willing to put up with people treating me wrong anymore. I think I found my worth and I just kept pushing to like educate myself, to heal more. Um,
Learning to
and
put
then,
up boundaries.
oh, the boundaries were huge. I had zero boundaries for myself. I didn't even know what boundaries were. And so yes, I definitely put boundaries up for myself. And I even read books on that as well. I was reading books about boundaries and how to do that and
And
just
feel
trying
into
to,
the anger to be able to say no.
yeah. And to be able to accept that that's not a bad thing because when you grow up with that kind of trauma you can become a people pleaser too, and I was definitely that, and I would let people walk on me and I wouldn't tell people my needs. I wouldn't put that boundary up for myself. I would let people walk all over me. And
When a person has developmental trauma, it can often, not everyone, but to even know what our needs are because they weren't met.
yeah,
Even to know what emotions are, even to be able to name emotions. And that can all be from trauma
yeah,
because we weren't taught, but
yeah,
it wasn't allowed.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I mean the healing journey, I'm still going there and I think it's amazing. I mean, things just keep unfolding for me. I keep seeing the changes in my children. Um, my life has drastically changed. Like I said, my husband and I, my high school sweetheart, the father of all my children, we were divorced for 12 years. We remarried. We
Oh, nice.
restored our relationship, and that's been an absolute just miracle, honestly, because he came from a very dysfunctional family as well. So when we had our first child, there was a lot of dysfunction throughout our first marriage. And so we were divorced for 12 years.
You
Um,
don't normally hear that too often.
yeah.
That's
And
something
he had,
special.
yeah, it's very special. And he had went on, he went on his little healing journey while we were apart as well. And so when we reconnected, it was it was a miracle, honestly.
By the grace of
I've
God.
said, yeah, I truly believe it was just a miracle. But now we have the best relationship. We have boundaries with each other. There's so much respect, so much honesty, um, and love there and compassion there. And there was a lot of forgiveness there where we needed to forgive each other for our past and the things that we did in our past that hurt each other, definitely.
A lot of heal,
Huh?
a lot of
Excuse me.
healing.
A lot of healing, a lot of healing. Yeah. And so it's just really awesome to see it still unfold because I
That is
still believe,
amazing.
yeah,
That is
it's all
amazing.
unfolding. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And how has embodied processing helped you?
Mm. It was a whole different ball game for me. Um, it's brought me into a safe space in my physical body because I believe that my mind was healing and I was finding healing with all the things that I was learning, and um, like I said, I had done talk therapy for a few years, but embodied processing really brought me into a space where I could feel safe within myself and allow myself to feel some emotions that I had locked up. And I was able to process and still am processing some things. So, yeah, it's brought me into my body. It's a completely different kind of healing, I think. It's something I haven't experienced in my journey of healing. I think it's just a level of healing I had no idea existed because I was so out of my body, if that makes sense. I wasn't really connected to my physical body.
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And how are you able to learn healthy coping mechanisms? Because when we are experiencing trauma, if we can have healthy coping mechanisms and good support, support is huge.
Mm,
But if we can have the healthy coping mechanisms, it can also make a significant difference. How are
yeah.
you able to learn them?
I think just my journey of trying to heal and educating myself. It started out with movement for me, exercise. That was one of the big things I started doing when I started putting up boundaries and really just knew that I wanted things to change for myself. So exercise was a big one for me. And then from exercise, I just started learning things like breath work and journaling, um, sitting quiet, just being still, and allowing myself to feel the emotions and get through them. So I'm still learning ways. I know yoga has helped me tremendously. Meditation helps me. Grounding helps me. I love to ground, especially now that I live in 5 acres of woods. So I go outside and I walk barefoot a lot, and I just get out in the sunshine and let the sun hit me and try to not, think of all the things I have to do for the day, or, all the to-do list things, and just give myself time to rest. I think rest is a really important thing too. Community is huge.
Huge.
Yeah, it's huge being around people that know compassion, that know grace, um,
Have
that
understanding.
that have understanding, that are patient, that respect your boundaries. I really think that finding your people is really important. And you can find them in more than one place too. Like I love the embodied processing groups that we have. Church was a great place where I met a lot of people and did a lot of healing. Yeah, so I think community and just being able to find people that you can connect with and have connection with is very important.
Okay. Okay. Now, for my score, personally, there's it was not even, it may be one, maybe zero. Um, However, like I believe I said earlier, I do believe that there could easily be a lot more added to that list. Personally, for me, I know I said in the first interview, I could not speak at the age 4. I could say mom, dad, and dog. I had severe speech problems. I had a lot of support. I struggled throughout school, but I found my way. Um, so I do believe that there could be a lot more added to this list. Okay. And I know, since one of the reasons why I have experienced some anxiety throughout my life is underneath the sense of anxiety, I do not feel good enough. and there is a sense of pain. And often when we feel anxiety, there's emotions under it. And in body processing helped peel down the layers. Because if somebody was to ask you, does Erin feel good enough? People like, oh yeah, she's cocky. More so in my 20s, right? But they'd be like, yes, she's a very, very confident girl. And there is a big part that, yes, there's a big part of me that is confident. But there was a part of me once I joined in body processing and I realized I did have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of the anxiety.
Yeah.
And so it's healing all parts of you. And as we peel down the layers, peel down the onion, we start to discover more. And when we are experiencing anxiety, often we try and push it down. Personally, I stayed busy. And I was constantly, and I didn't even know what I was doing, but since, I don't know, elementary school, at least high school, I've been trying to prove myself. It was through sports, that was an easy way, and then work, and there was all kinds of stuff. Trying to prove myself, staying busy constantly. And when we experience anxiety or other emotions, painful emotions we don't want to experience, we often try and push it down. And that can be with addictions, it can be staying busy at work, it can be social media, it can be food, it can be pornography, it can be sex, it can be, you name it.
Yeah.
You name it. Okay. There are so many ways that we try and cope. That's not healthy. That's why it's so important that we learn how to cope healthy. So when we are experiencing a painful emotion such as anxiety, instead of trying to push it down, the best way to heal is to go through it. So sit with yourself. Sit, allow the emotion to come. Close your eyes. And just sit with the emotion. So for example, I'd sit with emotion, I close my eyes, maybe put my hands to my chest, and I would recommend bring yourself into a resource first. So even bring yourself into, say, picturing yourself with the ocean. So if you, we can just do this for a moment, if that's okay.
Sure.
You just want to
Absolutely.
close your eyes for a moment.
Yeah.
And bring yourself to a forest or bring yourself to an ocean, a safe place, a peaceful place. And just look all around you and notice what you see. Look to the left. Look to the right. Look above. And look down. And look all around. And just notice what you smell and what you hear. And notice if you're feeling a sense of peace or safety or calm in your body and where you're feeling it. And then I would invite you to anchor that into your body. So perfect into your heart. And just allow yourself to feel that sense of peace, that sense of safety. And I encourage everyone to do this every day. And just notice what's happening in your body. And then I encourage you to, if it's anxiety, or allow yourself to feel, and everyone watching you, allow yourself to feel that painful emotion. Just welcome it. And just notice if there's any resistance. And don't resist any, like if it's the resistance, allow the resistance too. Ask if there's resistance, what it needs are. Ask, for example, or if it's anxiety, ask the anxiety, what are its needs? And what does it want to say?
Mm.
And then you could pendulate back into the resource.
Mm.
Bring yourself back to the ocean, the forest, wherever your safety is. And then what I would encourage everyone to do is pendulate back and forth, and a little bit at a time. So that way you're allowing yourself to feel the emotion. And then go back into a sense of safety. So feeling the emotion a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. So just bringing yourself back in that sense of safety, calm, and peace. And noticing it where you're feeling it in your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Mm. It's quite amazing how you can go back and forth like that. I love it.
But it does help heal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you have any questions with that, Carrie?
No, I just I love feeling the different sensations when you pendulate and being able to have that safety in your body and that understanding of yourself that you can do that, that you can go to your safe place and then you can go to that emotion and just do it a little bit at a time, one step at a time, right?
Exactly. One step
Yeah.
at a day, one step at a time. And
Yeah.
another technique, what you can do is, I know when I was going through a lot of trauma, I started journaling. I started writing everything down because I couldn't get the racing thoughts out of my head. And that was a way to help file it away. And what would have also helped is if I was able to do resource. So you can also resource
Mhm.
and journal, resource and journal. Alternatively, you can journal and then go spend time in nature. If you enjoy painting,
I was just gonna
drawing,
say,
playing
yeah,
music, whatever your
yeah,
passion is, journal a
yeah.
little bit or feel that emotion a little bit. And then bring yourself into that resource. Could be your dogs, could be an animal, whatever your love is, whatever your passion is,
Mhm.
bring that as your resource.
Yeah. I've been finding a lot that I've been letting my inner child come out too lately. Um, I just find it so healing. Like it was raining last week and I went out and I played in the rain. I can't even remember the last time as a child even that I would go out and splash in puddles and
Nice.
play.
That's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
That is amazing. Okay. And for parents watching that they're like, oh my goodness, my child has a high score.
Mm.
My daughter is on that list. She does not have a high score, but she's marked. Her dad is not in the house. What can I do as a parent to make sure my child has the best possible outcome? Well, I'm going to show her a lot of love and a lot of support. Spend time with her every day.
Mhm.
She knows, well, she's only 3, but whenever I want to teach her, she can come and talk to me about anything
Yeah.
without any judgment, and everything is welcome. And I will listen to hear. I also will play with her and engage with her, read her books every day. I will be her best friend, but I'm also going to have structure, and there's going to be rules. And I'm going to give her a lot of love and compassion and kindness. And whenever she needs anything, I will be there for her. I'm also going to have a huge support group for her, for people that and surround her with people that are safe, healthy, and loving. People that I believe will be a good example and influence on her. And give her that support and love that she needs. And I've spoken to psychotherapists, I've spoken to psychologists. In this field, we get to talk to a lot. I've spoken to her daycare teacher that has fostered 24 foster children. And she goes to daycare part-time, a few days a week now, and only half days. The rest of the time she's with me. But they all say she has a secure attachment. She's a well-adjusted, happy little child
Mhm.
who's carefree. And that's what every child deserves.
Absolutely.
A carefree, happy childhood.
Mhm.
And what advice do you give to parents that are listening and they're like, oh my goodness, my child is on this list?
I would say that was probably one of the really I had to come to terms with because I passed trauma down to my children and watching them go through the things that I went through and even seeing patterns that I had on my children as they grew up to be adults and they have some of the same patterns I had. So I would say to parents that if you are on this journey of learning and healing, again, compassion and grace for yourself, and that it's never too late for them to see you start your journey. And it's never too late to change a relationship with your child. So, like I was saying earlier in our podcast, I've seen some great things with my children since I have started my healing journey. Now, all 3 of my children are going to therapy, and I see all 3 of them working things out for themselves.
That's
And
amazing.
I truly believe that it's because I'm changing things. We can change things. We can change the patterns for our children. We can become
Generational patterns.
somebody that breaks the chain, right?
Exactly.
And I would say for every parent that it's just never too late. It doesn't matter how dim or dark it might seem to you, or how much shame you carry for maybe the things that your kids went through while they were in your care or are in your care. It's never too late to change. It's never too late to change it. So giving yourself enough compassion and love and patience to change, it will eventually help your children. Yeah.
And you're setting a road, you're setting a map and a good example.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And it
good on
doesn't,
you.
yeah, it doesn't matter how old your children are, right? Doesn't matter how old they are. Doesn't matter if they're grown and out of your house, and it doesn't matter if they're young. And it all comes down to you finding your healing because they're going to see that. And then they watch you, right? And then you see the patterns just fall on your children. It's a beautiful thing, honestly. It's just a beautiful thing when you start seeing the healing happen.
And
You
there's
can't,
always hope.
yeah, there's always hope. You can't control everything. You can't control everything. You really can't control anything but yourself, right? You can change yourself,
Exactly.
and
You can
that's
heal
where,
yourself. And when you
yeah,
heal yourself, and you just gave the perfect example, people start to notice. And then people want it too. And they go, me too. I want to join this journey because I see the benefits that you're having and I want it too.
yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
And your husband has done the same.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Our lives are
It's
completely different.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a wonderful feeling. It's a wonderful feeling for sure. Yeah. Our kids still got some things to work out because they went through a lot. Um, because him and I both went through a lot. And then when you look at the generations, when I started to heal, I started looking at the things and asking the questions. What did my dad go through as a child? What did my mom go through as a child? Why did they become the people that they became and coped with life the way they coped with it? And so, yeah, you just begin to ask those questions and look down the line and realize that you can change it.
And you can heal for generations to come because imagine how much that will impact not only your children that's already impacting, but your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, your great great grandchildren. Like that's significant. That is such a blessing. That's huge.
It's a ripple effect, right?
And you're the person who started it. How
Yeah.
proud are you? Like that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Um, I still feel like there's so much more to go. I think it's a journey I'm probably going to be going on my whole life, but I just love where it's brought me and where it's taking my children. And not only that, I have compassion for many people that have gone through some of the same things that I've gone through. So it's just brought me into this space where I want to see people healed. I want to help them because I know it can be different because I've
Yes,
lived
it
it.
can.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And what advice do you have for people that do have deep developmental trauma?
Hmm. I think educating yourself is very important. Learning to understand yourself. Like we said before, community. Find a community that you can feel safe in. Reach out to people that can help you. Um, give yourself patience and kindness. And um, there's always hope, like you said. There's just always hope. Don't give up. It can be slow because it was slow for me. Um, so patience was something I had to learn for sure when I started this journey. But you will start to see the fruit of your healing if you really do the messy hard work, because it can be very messy, but it is so worth the messy work.
And give yourself compassion and grace. And we all have human worth and we all have dignity. And there's nothing that you need to do to make yourself have human worth
Yeah.
because we're all born innocent little babies. And if you look at a baby, you don't look at the baby and say, what's your human worth?
Yeah.
You look at a baby and go, you're amazing, you're adorable. Like they
Yeah.
have so much human worth. And you do too. And feel that for a moment.
Mhm.
That you have human worth. You have human dignity. Give
Mm,
yourself that grace. Give yourself that compassion. No one's better than anyone else.
that's right.
Some people may think they're better than others, but it's simply not true.
Mm,
Some people may sometimes have more struggles than others, but with that, there's a lot of healing and growth. And where there's deep pain, there's deep healing that can be done.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, your identity doesn't lie in what happened to you or even what you have done.
It
Yeah,
does not.
it
We
doesn't
may
lie.
believe it does sometimes,
Mm,
but it's a lie we tell ourselves, or it's a lie other people tell us.
yeah,
It's simply not true. Well, thank you so much for joining. It was an honor to have you, and we will continue for our next interview. We will continue with our mini series on healing developmental trauma with compassion and grace. Because please remember, you guys do have human worth and human dignity, and you all have beauty. You all have great beauty in you. And I will leave you with one last note. Going through my healing journey, I have met many women that have had a lot of struggles. And we're not always proud of things we have done. But you know what? They all have had very good hearts. And that's what matters. It's not what you've done in your past or what you haven't done or what you've experienced. It's your kind heart, your true core self. And I've learned so much from this community.
mm,
And I'm so grateful. And that's why I wanted to call this series Healing Developmental Trauma with Compassion and Grace, because I've learned so much from everyone. And I do see a lot of goodness in everyone.
yeah, definitely. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.